you know, we take it back a few years. My recruit process really came down to Georgia and Clemson. I mean, Clemson never offered me, but I took a visit to Clemson, and when I left there, they told me that they were going to offer me the next day. And when I went home, they called me the next day and basically told me that they were going to take another route and taking 2 quarterbacks the next year. And so I can remember going home that night, and I absolutely loved Clemson. And it was Georgia and Clemson. I was back and forth, and so you know, it's kind of ironic to see now. At that time, I didn't know I was going to be playing Clemson, but very ironic to look back on it and think that I'm on this side instead of that side. So, you know,
did you have a Georgia offer at that point?
I did. Yep.
What would you have done if Clemson offered the next time?
Yeah, it would have been tough. I can remember calling Coach, leaving Clemson. I was leaving with my high school coach, and was just really impressed by Clemson, the Clemson academics, and how they handle that stuff. And had a great meeting with the coaches, and I remember leaving and telling my coach, I was like, whoa, you know, like I'm kind of stuck. And so I remember calling Coach Bobo and kind of telling him, like, man, I really love the Clemson academics, and you know, going into that Clemson visit, I wasn't really expecting that. And when I left, I quickly realized I had a really tough decision to make. So I went home and prayed, and really prayed hard, because I was like, man, and you got to remember, this is like December. This is close to signing day. I didn't get offered by Georgia till December, so this decision is kind of being pressed by coaches to happen pretty quickly. And so I went home and I prayed about it. And ironically, the next morning they called me and they're like, "Hey, we're actually not going to offer you. We're going to take 2 quarterbacks in the next class." And then I was like, I knew what decision to make.
How much of a look did you give Clemson back in your recruiting process?
Pretty good look. It's probably my second school, so probably would have ended up going there.
Were you keeping in touch with Marshall at the time? Was he also looking at Clemson as a possibility, or?
Yeah, he was.
Who was the first to commit between you two? Did you commit first or Keith?
No, Keith, because he came in early. So
okay. You know, Dabo tells the story that as soon as Keith committed, he's like, I knew he had Gurley. There's no way both would go to Georgia.
Hey, he was wrong.
And when you come off a year where you've had some injuries, do you approach the year any differently or try to do things